Archimex login confirmed.
Welcome to the Lodge. You've accessed
the Lodgecast experience.
Warning, warning. Dangerous spoilers ahead. Enjoy.
Hello and welcome to a very, very special edition of the Lodgecast. I am your Lodge Master. With me as always is Brother Bishki.
What's up?
And Brother Lucas.
Stand down, take the shot!
Today we are bursting at the seams with boys. Jacked up to see Nicolas Cage in Mandy. We are going to the only theater within reasonable range that has it. It is the Lemley Monica Film Center in beautiful Santa Monica, California. We are looking out over the beach right now.
We're in Palisades Park. It's
Sunset.
beautiful.
What?
Sunset, magic hour.
There is no better way to finally have just one of the major gurus. He has a hood. He has a black hood up right now. He's looking metal as fuck. He is one of our favorite people in the universe. Brother Dave is here.
Hail Satan.
And also, a couple other returning luminaries, no less bright and potent. Brother Nathan.
Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm down here.
And Brother Zach.
Ready for Cage.
And Brother Justin.
I'm here to kill demons!
So many boys tonight. So many boys. So let's keep it high and tight. The movie is sold out. There's a lot of intense speculation as to what we're about to see. But beforehand, what do we know about this director? He is the son of Lodge royalty, the director of Cobra. He's the director of Cobra's son.
Oh, no way.
A slew of Carloco.
Son of Cobra.
George Cosmatos?
Cosmatos. This is Panos Cosmatos.
So his name should be George Cobra Son.
Yes.
The son of
I watched Cobra
director.
with his DVD, his director commentary, and it was very insightful.
Yeah.
He's a solid guy.
I think
His accent is also hilarious.
I think the son has taken accurate notes from the father, and if he has, we should be in for a treat. Brother Dave, what do you make of all this? How do you feel about being here, and what do you expect out of this?
First of all, I'd like to apologize to the listeners and my fellow lodge mates for slacking on the podcast this long. It's been tough to get out.
You've had a good reason.
I had a good reason, and I think Mandy is the perfect film for me to make my debut.
You're right.
It really is.
Yes.
I've purposefully avoided the trailer and the synopsis because I've heard from the underground horror community is a buzz about this film.
You're tapped into the underground.
You know, I do what I can, Matt, and between that and the fact that I keep hearing this movie is metal as fuck, this movie has my name written all over. I'm stoked.
You're definitely the most metal as fuck member of the lodge.
I appreciate that.
Does anybody else have any thoughts? We don't want to spoil Brother Dave going into this, but is there any non-spoily items of note you guys want to bring up?
I want to take a quick informal poll. How many people besides me fell asleep real hard during Beyond the Black Rainbow?
Oh, Brother Dave's hand went up.
Sleepy time?
Yeah, I did not see it.
I did not.
Haven't seen.
Haven't seen.
That is the only thing that's making me drag my feet. It was interesting to look at the director's previous film, but it's like where the rubber meets the road story-wise. Ugh.
Yeah, I think I watched a Kickstarter video about it where they were showing some behind the scenes and how they were hell-bent on not using any digital effects.
Right.
So right away, fuck you. You can use models, you can use matte paintings, that's all fine and good, but when you're a purist and you refuse ones and zeros, you're a fool.
Brother Justin does not like hard and
modernity.
fast rules.
I miss Beyond the Black Rainbow, and I've only seen the trailer for Mandy, but if it wasn't for Nicolas Cage, I don't know if I'd be as gung-ho for Mandy. I think Nicolas Cage legitimizes
what's
it
our
by
Cage
my
temp?
eyes enough.
This looks to be the sweet spot. This looks to be port of call Cage in a movie that is metal as fuck, I would say, yes.
Yeah.
But I believe this is Johan Johansson's last score before he died.
Oh wow. Okay.
So we got, there's a few things to be curious about here. Also, Andrea Riseborough and Linus Roach. So the cast is exciting.
Yeah.
The music is exciting. The trailer hooked me. Looks fun.
This is the best trailer I've seen in years.
Yeah.
By far.
Great.
It looks fun.
I mean, Cage is on the loose.
Cage is on the loose.
They're gonna get him. Someone just had a heart attack during the previous screening.
Yeah.
Just got wheeled out.
Obviously.
I'm a little concerned that it's going to be potentially a mess of like psychedelic pretentiousness.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to take that ride with Cage.
It's also 2 solid hours.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Fine. Nicolas Cage, from Valley Girl to Left Behind, which is the last Nicolas Cage movie I saw. I love him to death. I think he's getting out of debt, and he's ready to do films that are passionate.
He's ready to
passionate.
It's ready to atone.
I second that.
Yeah, I would venture this movie's gonna get bonkers, insane, really watchable, really fun, but it's gonna make us earn it.
Yeah.
There's gonna be swaths of
You're going to have to be patient.
droney nothingness.
All right. Well,
And,
it's a sold-out show. There's no assigned seats. Let's scamper these 7 bros into the theater and see what it is we're talking about. We'll be back in this beautiful park
Back to
afterwards.
the promenade.
And
we'll have to
we
be back to back at night.
we will be looking out for each other.
We'll be beyond the 7 bros.
And we will let you know. This is also on VOD, so we're going the extra mile to see this in a theater for you guys. So if we report good findings, you can just order it right up and jack right in.
Because next week it's got to get pulled, right? Like, there's no way it's going to stay at this theater.
It's
going to run for
Buzz is high.
Buzz is high.
Okay.
And I do have to say a special shout out to Brother Justin. He is a Gold Star Lodger right now because he went out and saw Peppermint. You gotta go see it, guys.
Follow through.
If it's in a theater near you, and it still is, go check out the
God
Peppermint.
bless you,
Two
sir.
and a half bones.
Nice.
Huge. It's huge. It's huge.
Not quite at the father-son 3.5 level.
No, but that's a lot to ask. That's a lot to ask.
I think take a moment for the calm of the group. Take it in, guys. It's breezy.
Look at that sun.
Right? We are going into a 2-hour art horror film directed by Panos Cosmatos, and I did see Beyond the Black Rainbow.
Yes, sir.
And it is a mindfuck, and I think he's really trying to grab the viewer with this one. So with Cage, with the focus crystal of Cage's acting ability right now, let's go together.
Hold
Let's
on.
do
By
it.
the
Put
crystal
the
of
hands
Cage.
in.
By the crystal of
By the
Cage.
crystal of Cage.
He will not let us down.
1, 2, 3.
Cage.
Cage. We have returned from the wooded abyss that was Mandy.
Now stand on the balmy cliffs of Palisades Park.
There are 7 gentlemen who are trying their hardest to keep it muted right now. We're trying not to talk about it yet. And we can't talk about it until Brother Bishke reads that synopsis. Give us that special synopsis.
From Rotten Tomatoes, Pacific Northwest, 1983 AD. Outsiders Red Miller and Mandy Bloom lead a loving and peaceful existence when their pine-scented haven is savagely destroyed by a cult led by the sadistic Jeremiah Sand. Red is catapulted into a phantasmagoric journey filled with bloody vengeance, and laced with fire.
All right, pine scented.
Yeah.
That's
You
really
almost smell the pine.
Where do we even begin with this?
Well,
Justin,
right off
help
the
us.
bat, we sat very close,
Yeah.
which normally I
Second
am
row.
averse to.
Center.
Yeah.
However, this had this kind of digital grain. It was really affected to look like film. It was the color correction was off the charts.
It was
And
really
it was-
fetishizing the old look.
It was almost watching like 4K VHS. And I was immediately sucked into it.
He's in.
Yeah, like-
He's in, folks.
Beyond the Black Rainbow had the same, look. You feel like it's deep in Gaussian blur,
Right.
Lush.
Yeah, how did everybody feel about the look of it? Like just when it hits you initially.
Beautiful. Yeah,
Beautiful.
it definitely is playing
Yeah.
off nostalgic. Yeah, VHS.
Yeah,
The analog.
Yeah.
quality.
It went right into my veins.
Yeah.
It's like a heroin.
It's a shorthand for sure. Yeah, it doesn't matter what you're watching because it's just like you're transported back in time.
I'd be really surprised if most of us don't have really weird dreams tonight.
Yeah.
We're guaranteed to.
Yeah, it unlocks a lot of stuff
There's some
deep within the psyche.
very frightening sequences in that movie. Before it gets giggly, it's very unsettling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of broken up into 3 parts. We get different title interstitials, and then the Mandy title doesn't come in till like an hour or so into it.
Comes into right when he goes in for murder revenge.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody loves a good blood catharsis here, right? I mean, that's
Well, but
the
here's
winner
the
of
thing.
this thing.
Here's the thing. The thing I kept thinking of during this, it is very deliberate in its development of what's going on. It's
I would say in the beginning, just for my taste, it was beautiful, but it was like a little over deliberate. I was like, but once the horror kicked in, I would say at the
deep
scorpion trip meld with her and the main cult leader, I was like, my wavelength suddenly settled in for
which is interesting because you're the control who doesn't smoke before movies. So
well,
what,
I felt like I was, and I still feel.
Your eyes are dilated. I mean, this movie is a drug movie.
Yeah.
It is a drug movie through and through.
Yeah.
It is a movie that will reveal deeper layers if you're on mushrooms, if you're on LSD especially.
No.
But I wouldn't do it. But
I
it's
went in
definitely.
sober and
But
yeah.
I
But
would
it's definitely made by a mind who travels in those realms.
I would definitely say it successfully captures the essence of what it's like. Having done it myself, like I was thinking that I was
You've
like,
been there in the
yeah,
abyss.
I was like, that's the sick joke with this is like he does it too well, and he
It feels like it, yeah.
definitely
I was
is
like,
methodical.
Is this
and-
Rob Zombie on Quaaludes right now? Because it had the vibrant colors and the crazy characters and the speeches, but it was just slowed down.
It slowed way down.
man,
like
it
it's
took
like
its time.
some
It was
scissor.
no
Yeah.
rush.
Well,
no
in,
hurry.
In speaking of the slowness, maybe the most hypnotic reverse shot close up
Sure.
I've ever seen in my life.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
superimposed.
Are we ready to
Yeah.
discuss
Well,
that? that
let's.
scene?
There's not much to like. The first hour and a half can be summed up
Yeah.
by us.
It's a log line.
Yeah, it's like 1 minute. You know, like it's Nicolas Cage. He vaguely works with chainsaws. We get that. He doesn't drink. They do a lot of silent exposition in the opening there.
Can we pause and just talk about that opening? Because we got to give a shout out to Ian.
Oh, right.
Because that King Crimson.
Ian,
Oh my God, that's gorgeous.
brother Ian, if you are listening to this, I am so sorry that you're not here with us. There were just too many boys. But you're going to be
standing in a park watching each other's
I could feel him.
You're going to be front and center for Suspiria, though. That's a guarantee. And we feel your spirit here tonight, brother Ian. We call upon you with the Abraxas horn.
Oh, the Abraxas
I
horn.
felt to call the Ian as well. I felt a callback to the heavy metal. There's animation sequences that
Yes.
intercut like
Very
dream,
1983.
yeah,
Yeah.
quote unquote
Exactly,
dream
heavy
sequences.
metal
That very
esque.
much the heavy metal aesthetic and like these
The weapon of choice that he
rune
makes,
stones and
yeah.
the quest theory of adventure. So
Yes.
D
The
and
whole
D.
bedroom
It calls into that.
architecture,
I mean,
like atrium vibe, like that was so my neighbor. You
I
know?
think it juggles it, and I think it's successful sometimes, and also I feel it feels shoehorned to me a little bit.
Sure, it feels
I
like
really wanted
pastiche
those to work, and
sometimes.
I was like, hey, this is gonna follow through maybe in the third act. But what we get is blood splattered, chickmunk cheeked, Nick Cage.
But
I thought he looked a little silly.
But
doing those
until then,
things.
there's a good hour plus of just kind of hazing around. It's this cult sees Nick Cage's wife on the road. This cult leader
just randomly.
Sees her in his
he
mind,
gets really
right?
into
He
it,
sees her in his mind.
and then has to have her no matter what. So it's this slow build up. They have to call these demon bikers who took some bad LSD and never came
which
back.
Is the,
A lot of
which
bad
is the
LSD.
craziest intro ever because you don't know what the setup is. You have no fucking idea what's happening. It's like
got the horn of a brass.
is the,
They're
waiting for the
horn of a
horn to like
brass.
ricochet
They
back,
were
and that's the direction they go in. I was like, this is
There's
a
a
purpose.
small horn that they
And
blow
then
to
he's-
summon these
And they
guys.
hire
It
like
is
one of the
very frightening.
Klopex is like the guy riding shotgun. That's like, well, how long we have to wait?
That guy
after-
was cool. One of the
after rolling
henchmen
the
had
window up and
obviously
down
been directed to never close his mouth.
in real time.
He's great.
Yeah, he was great.
And then these demons on like ATV show up, and
They're
it's
like the
straight
Cenobites if they
out
were
of
a
your
biker gang.
nightmares.
Yeah,
but it's like
the
in this
Cenobikes.
real grounded
Ceno-
reality
the
with like a
Cenobike.
mountain store, and I'm thinking like this is real. Like this isn't like a dream. Like this is supposed to be in
This
the
is real.
tangible universe
Yeah,
unfolding.
they're real bikers.
Like okay, I guess. Like okay.
I mean, you just kind of go with it. It makes its own rules on the fly. They kidnap her, and then there's a long, tripped out, the scorpion trip scene.
Yeah.
Which is intense.
They induct her into their cult.
So gross.
It's very intense.
I'm just gonna
So
say that, like, even though I really enjoyed the movie, I didn't love it as much as I hoped I would. But that sequence is an all-time sequence.
It's amazing.
It's special.
Yeah,
It really is something
because
to
it
see.
victimizes the entire audience. Like you are completely rendered helpless. Like you are all in the same.
And you got an uncircumcised penis in the face.
Yeah, it's full frontal.
You
You're all
got
in the same
Linus
wavelength.
Roach, all of
You
Linus
got
Roach.
Linus's
You
Roach.
got all his
He was
full frontal.
mesmerized.
I
he
think
was phenomenal.
for a role like that, the hippie
cult
cult leader wearing all white, and he had like the Star Trek 4 Vulcan what Spock was wearing, you know, at one sequence, just to give you a picture to the audience. But I think he was successful in a role that's kind of hard to play.
It's hard.
He gave it his all.
The only thing I fault him for is that I was never afraid of him through to the end. Like, I'm
he
just
gets
not
in the corner.
just not afraid of him. He's not imposing to me.
Yeah, I was really hoping for like some sort of video game boss
Battle.
second level transformation
Right.
with
As
him.
well, like an opening a gate of hell, like he was like some peon of some greater force. I thought there was something that was going to happen in that third act.
Uh-oh. Bishki went
No, I
demon
thought he was good. I mean, he was the mystic. He was the mystic that was completely gone, and he was trying to suck Nicolas Cage into his.
All right.
Yeah.
I think Bishki's drinking this Kool-Aid.
I thought it was very inspiring.
And one of the other benefits to sitting that close is you could see the reflection in their eyes in those close-ups when it was trippy. You could see the light trails and the RGB separation. And it was
I think the fact that all their dilated
quite
pupils,
effective.
you can just fall into their eyes, especially during the double exposure with that sequence.
There's a very nice
about that.
There's a very
Cage's
nice
animalistic, dilated eyes.
a lot of dilated eyes, including our own.
There's something
there's
going on there.
There's a sequence in this induction ceremony where the cult leader's face is superimposed over Mandy's and vice versa.
Is that the sap dragon?
You
Or
just
the salad dragon?
I don't even know.
There's so many.
The movie's a salad dragon.
man.
It's a
might be
tossed
another
salad.
contender.
I think
This is a salad
I've got to
dragon
vote for
riding
the
a
salad
dirt bike.
dragon.
Okay.
And it's when Cage is takes it to the bikers, and he enters a room
Oh yeah.
where there's a porno going on in the background.
That's a contender.
And the biker is doing just a mountain of cocaine.
Yeah.
And Cage is fighting him to the death with a doggy-style porno going on in the background.
that
And
was
then,
a salad dragon.
and after he kills him, he does a giant line of coke off his battle axe.
That's,
And
that's
I-
what
Huge.
settles
And then
it.
kick some of the bad LSD on top.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it doubles down.
Yeah.
Like,
There's
it's
a
even
there's a
more
lot
good.
of Cage recovering sequences. I mean, he
Yeah,
gets a
so-
lot of wounds in this.
So
Barbed wire,
And
after
then he
the
just
hour,
walks off the roof and just does this drop. Like that
after
shit
the
is
hour or
bonkers.
so of the build-up, we get the Mandy title card, and thus begins the movie that everybody thought they were coming to see.
Right, which I forgot about.
I-
Like at that point, I was like, oh
Demon
my
Slayer,
god, that's
Demon
right.
Slayer.
Like now he's gonna kill everybody.
I was
Right before that, though, we do get, as part of his recovery, he sees a TV commercial,
Right.
which is one
That's
for
the
the
salad
books.
dragon
That was
scene.
the
That was
cheddar goblin
bananas.
commercial.
Cheddar macaroni and cheese.
Dude,
After the
goblin.
trauma he's witnessed and been party to, like for that to be what snaps him back into reality.
Do you want to have the honor of describing the cheddar goblin scene?
Oh man, well,
Or commercial.
Cage comes back in, snaps back to reality after being brutalized and witnessing some true horror, and he's wounded and his head's not in his right space, and he just stumbles into his house and on the television is playing a commercial for what's, I guess, essentially like Kraft macaroni and cheese. But in this universe, it's called Cheddar Goblin, and
it's Goblin good.
It's Goblin good. It's got this like little gremlin character who's just vomiting macaroni and cheese into a bowl for a little girl
over their heads.
Yeah.
And Cage at this point is in his whitey tighty.
And if you listen closely afterwards,
real. It is too real. It's like in a realm
his
of real.
reaction is Cheddar Goblin.
That immediately follows, a very intense, sequence for all of us.
I think
we lose. I mean, we can say what that is.
They knew, the filmmakers knew that we needed a properly exposed Cage freakout scene. He goes into the bathroom in his underwear and like a tiger shirt.
That's the salad dragons.
The salad dragons come fast and furious.
That was the audition and then open that door.
And he
just
the camera is obviously like non-obtrusively just filming every
It's
move.
like on tripod. It's just like
Well,
watch
it's a pure freakout
It
scene.
moves in and out.
It was
a
the
few
Captain
times.
Phillips
Sure.
PTSD post checkup, like
the Kurt Russell and Death
I suppose that's what it was.
No, yeah, it was where he was like in shock. Like, he was in shock. He like found his hidden stash bottle of vodka and started pounding it so hard. You knew it was real vodka because he was like grabbing
Into
his
his
throat.
wounds.
Shades of Leaving Las Vegas for me.
We know Nick Cage did that for real. That is real.
That is
alcohol.
real booze.
I mean,
If he ate a cockroach, he drank
vampires
some
kids.
booze.
And I wanted to love that shot in that scene, but I don't know if I totally did. I don't know if it worked for me.
compared to the rest of it.
Yeah.
I felt like it was.
Giggling.
We need a Cage freakout scene.
Totally.
That's why it was.
It got
there.
me delirious. I mean, I was getting ready.
But did you feel his pain? Like, I think they were going for serious with there.
At the end, I was giggling, and then he went from screaming freak out and pouring vodka all over the place to vulnerable crying, and I'm like, Cage is miraculous. Like, he can be so over the top, committedly over the top,
Right.
wild, and then he goes to this place where I'm like, I'm not laughing anymore. I'm kind of moved.
All right.
I don't know.
I did love the shot because you got the sense of his physical presence as this giant grizzly bear who could like murder someone with his bare hands, which he does later on. And he does go for it 100%. So.
Well, I think there might be another layer here, guys. I mean, like, this thing plays out kind of like a comic book in heavy metal, where it's like we look to the sky and there's maybe multiple planets at the sky. That's the final shot of the film. Yeah. I mean, I want to hear you guys, thoughts about that. Is there another layer of just kind of funny book?
Panos wanted to use matte paintings. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
A lot of this stuff is very surface to me, unfortunately.
During the days of heaven, when he's got his girl, Mandy, and they're laying in bed, they're talking about planets. What's your favorite planet?
Yeah, I get that.
Like Jupiter.
No one says Earth.
And he makes up, comic book reference.
Reagan is on the radio.
He says he wants to be Galactus, and she's like,
I thought it might be like the occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge, where like the whole time he's just dying, like hanging after they like killed her, and then like it snaps back, and it was all a dream or something. Because I was like, didn't he get stabbed?
That's a science
in
fiction kind of
the
genre
organs. There was
trope.
like a deep stab wound, and I guess like he healed, like he patched it up. Or
I need to let the
wore a
audience,
flat
the
plate.
listeners, know how she died. I think.
Oh, she gets burned alive in a sack.
For being,
But you know what?
She laughs.
How does that?
100% accurate.
But we say like she
accurate.
laughs
It's like maybe a
She's strung up.
15-minute
But-
long.
And
But like, I thought they were like messing with him at first. Like I didn't actually see her going to the
Right.
sleeping
I didn't
bag,
think
so
it was gonna be her.
They didn't really establish that it was her in
it's
there.
pretty clear at the end.
She's
Well,
burned
no,
alive.
it was.
Her
No, it was.
ashes.
Yeah, no,
skull
I get that. But at the
God.
time, I
Sweat.
wasn't 100%.
All right,
It's
so
brutal.
let's.
And he watches it all tied up with
That's
barbed
all
wire.
well and good. This isn't going to make any sense to anyone.
I feel like,
Let's
I feel like
get
we gotta
to the
describe
revenge.
that.
yeah.
He goes and visits Bill Duke. Great to see.
Another salad drink.
Looks exactly the
Looking
same.
great,
Fantastic
sounding
scene.
great.
He looks great. Just
He's
like
great.
he did in
Tells you about the
Predator.
biker's backstory a little bit.
Yep, he tells us about the bikers, and he gives him his crossbow, the Reaper.
He goes to him for his weapons.
And gives them arrows that cut through cake like
not
a
a
fat
good.
kid.
You don't got good chances against these guys.
Right.
And Cage said, "Don't be so negative."
Right. So
There's a few heavy
this is
metal
where Cage
sequences
has
there
most
where
of
he's
his
building.
lines. He has maybe like a page of lines in this movie. He forges a battle axe, which again, it's
which takes time, man. You got to be physically healthy.
Pretty
to
rad.
The metallurgy. I mean, that was maybe one of my favorite. I think I started punching Justin in the leg. I was so excited.
That was a moment where it's like
there's some like nerd.
Where it's like we know that Cage doing metallurgy is going to give nerdgasms, but it also fits with the movie. Yeah. It's a good alchemy there. I didn't feel like they were pushing Cage on us as like Cage minstrel.
I think we're in a heightened reality there, and there's echoes after turn after turn for video games, and
there's so many influences.
The keys of Ventuzler. We're going. Go over to the mountain. I'm on that wavelength with it. But it had a rock and roll vibe with it too.
All right,
it's
the
like
hippie,
the nerdiness that heavy metal embraces.
Yes,
where it's like we're metal, the devil, but also fantasy novels.
Right.
There's a layer. There's a layer of the satanic panic as well.
Sure.
I think all that paganism and ritual and sacrifice.
For sure. There needs to be a full movie of early '80s suburban satanic panic.
Right. Yeah.
That's
coming. Yeah.
We're yearning for that.
Panos loved it.
What did everybody think of his revenge? He goes and visits this chemist, and there's a tiger in a cage. And
get a great tiger over a
he goes through a tunnel.
He goes through a long ass tunnel.
Very metaphorical. Yeah, he's going back to the underworld.
Great location. They built the satanic church. They built they're building in this like. What was that? A quarry? Yeah. Really striking. I mean, the art direction in this
they built
movie
that
is
for
wonderful.
sure. That was a Michael Cimino.
And then comes the battle we're all waiting for, which is the chainsaw battle.
Right.
Yeah.
By far the best chainsaw fight since Motel Hell.
Yeah,
I was thinking when I was watching that, there should be more chainsaw fights, and how do we not have that many?
Was there one in Cobra?
No, there's large
axe
fights. I feel like there is in Phantasm 2. We'll see again soon enough.
I think there's a few set pieces that are very successful.
But I felt like this one was good. It's Cage with a regular chainsaw versus a goon with
the bigger dick,
like a 9-foot chainsaw.
Comically
bigger bladed.
I think they botched the ending of the scene though. They didn't shoot it right.
Yeah, I agree.
They wanted him to wrap this chain around this guy's neck and then pull him down on a chainsaw blade that was on the ground. And
but if I may, the lasso with the chain was comic gold.
That's fine.
That's
fine. But you gotta stick the landing.
Paid price of admission for a Cage lassoing a chain.
I think these are small points that we're making here because this is striving for crazy perfection.
It is.
And so I think we're getting really close to the painting with a jeweler's loop.
Well, I still think that scene didn't fucking work at the end. And then it cuts to the big, fuck yeah moment of showing the chapel, and I'm like, I don't know.
Can I mention a nitpick that bothered me? And almost took me out of it for a minute, but I still really like the movie. But okay, so as the revenge is starting, he's chasing one of the bikers, right?
Yeah.
And he shoots him off his bike. The guy falls. He gets in a car accident himself, and then he wakes up and he's chained up.
Right.
By the bikers.
Right.
Why don't they just kill him? They really need to bring him home and chain him up, and it's the second time we've seen Nick Cage.
And he had just been unchained.
That was a real strange repeat beat.
It was. I felt like that was like something to add length right in the middle, and it backfired on him.
But a good line for Cage. He said, what did he call him? Something snowflake. A vicious snowflake?
Yeah.
I didn't think that was a good one.
No. I guess I just like how Cage delivered it. Man. I don't know. The whole movie at that point was so predictable and yet, for the most part, enjoyable for me.
Well, we got 7 bros here. So Cage wins, and obviously, and we see him kind of hallucinate his wife back in the car with him as he goes off into the night. In the multi-mooned environment that he lives in at this point.
We see him.
So yeah, let's just say our piece on this. Brother Bishke, you've been quiet. I believe
I'm in the zone.
In quiet reverence of this whole thing.
Your pupils are dilating.
I thought it was a visual feast. It was Cage. It was perfect for Cage, I thought, because it was referencing so many things, and Cage is just a reference. He's
a sponge.
He's been, we see so much into him. He's funny, but let's see, to the bones. 3.5 bones.
Whoa.
Yeah. I thought it was.
Giving me chills.
I thought it was very, very.
Came right out of nowhere.
Yeah, I thought the beginning was slow, but once I got into the spirit of it, I was ready through the whole thing, and it could have gone in many ways because it was just visually so magnificent.
A hushed reverence from Brother Bishke. Brother Lucas.
Yeah, I couldn't help but think of this other Lodgecast movie that we saw earlier, Revenge, with Brother Ben. And I remember liking that more than this, and I gave that a higher bone rating. But retroactively, I think
you don't have to worry about the past.
I got to change that eventually. But tonight with this, I felt like aesthetically it was very pleasing to the eye, and the sound design it was very intense. And
we can't forget to mention Johann.
Yeah, and it was like a total tone poem, mood, atmospheric nightmare that was very gory and splatterfest and all these things. But at the same time, I felt it was way too long and lacked a lot of tension in places, and the pace was kind of off, and overall I was just trying to stay awake, especially when the cult leaders got her, and he's talking on and on and on. It's all right, we get it. She's in a bad place. These are bad people. Don't force us to actually have to listen.
How many bones you got?
I give it 2 bones. I give it 2 bones.
All right.
Okay.
We're running the gamut, Brother Nathan.
Well,
what are we doing?
I see a cosmic darkness in this movie. I think it's a success for Panos Cosmatos. I think the Beyond the Black Rainbow lacked a plot. It's an escape movie, and a lot of people, a lot of us haven't seen it, but are here have seen it. Maybe you go revisit it. It has the same lush cinematography that this one does. But I think someone gave him the advice, do a simple plot, man. Do a murder revenge plot. This is the easiest. The Limey, the echoes of the Limey, echoes of the Crow. There's so many that we can count. Unforgiven, or whatever. All these great titles. But I think see it for Cage's uneven, dynamic, crazy performance. This is later in his career. I mean, they're gonna pull clips from this.
Forever.
They're gonna pull clips from this and add it to the crazy Cage stuff. I mean, there's so much. If you freeze frame a lot of these, there's some beautiful photography throughout. So I give it 3 bones. It's okay. Not. It kind of lacked something for me. It didn't go all the way for me at that third act. I felt like we needed more hallucination imagery of hell. I was expecting a gateway to hell, and these guys, these bumblers or these festivals let them in.
They definitely get set up as
3 bones
supernatural. It feels like they're supernatural when it gets set up, but then later it's no.
It's the drugs.
Yeah, it's the drugs.
Just we're missing an end-level demon,
or
Mad Max biker
fight,
dude.
A bigger fight. Yeah.
Some bigger fight with Linus Roach.
That's what I was saying. The cult leader, especially in the end, is not threatening.
I was going to say there's something beautiful in a weird way about the fact that he's not a threat. In fact, he's a pathetic reverse threat.
Sure.
He gives the Boys in the Hood line of I'll suck your dick, man.
Yeah.
Which is a great laugh line and what you don't expect from a boss at the end of a movie.
Right.
Finally.
And Cage becomes the god of the scene. But some of my feelings on the movie, I love the aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
I did have pacing issues because I get antsy, but ironically, the slowest scene was probably my favorite scene because I just thought it was so trippy and beautiful and disturbing. I love weird religious cult stuff, so that was great. I love Cage. It's great to have him back in a movie that's appropriately weird for him. And I give it 3 bones.
3 bones.
Especially, it was possibly a little overhyped for me. So going in, I was expecting something truly remarkable. And there's moments, but I really appreciated the extreme metal aesthetic of it.
I could feel it in your nervous system when something metal happened. I was
I would perk up, when I hear those drums kick in, and I'm like, what? Honestly, I feel like they could have pushed that on the soundtrack a little more.
Well, and especially since the end credits are basically silent. Strange.
That was a big misfire for me. That needed some serious metal.
Slayer time.
And to just leave us in silence, I think, is a little bit of a mic drop that I don't think
doesn't work. Yeah,
was really earned.
Yeah, I felt if anything, it should just be ambient sounds of the forest. Everything's peaceful again. But
Justin, what you got? Some bones to throw?
Yeah, for the last 15 or so years, I've had a deep-rooted resentment and hatred and jealousy for filmmakers that can pull off just atmospheric nonsense. And when it works, it really works for me. It's very rare. I want to nitpick some things here and there, but I'm gonna have to go 3.5 bones with Bishki.
I think this is because I wasn't sitting close to you. I was certain you were gonna tear this apart.
He was smiling the whole film.
Wow.
I was in it to win it.
That's
I didn't,
amazing,
I didn't smoke,
Justin.
didn't drink. I was pulled
no
in.
smoke, no drink.
I was pulled into the 4K VHS throwback aesthetic.
That's great.
I thought, and this is taking into account obviously the type of movie we're watching.
Right.
There's not going to be a tight narrative.
Sure.
There's going to be parts where there's a little bit of a lull and it's all atmosphere. It's all frosting.
Right.
But when it works, it works. I was delighted by so much of it. Few gripes here and there, but for the most part, this is my favorite movie of the year so far.
Whoa! All right. Let's slide on over to Brother Sluice.
Yeah, I did a little check-ins with the crew. I looked down the row.
I felt you looking.
Yeah, well, I noticed you had your mouth open with a big smile on your face at a few key moments of madness and Cage.
All the time.
Sure.
I agree. It was a little slow early on, but the visuals and the sonics are really arresting. It transports you into a space and a land in this movie that you are not familiar with, even though it's touching on a lot of callbacks to 80s movies and Dungeons and Dragons and metal and all this shit that everyone's mentioned. I think Linus Roach was excellent. I thought Andrea Riseborough was really good. Her eyes are just kind of pierce into your soul. And
was that Mandy?
That's Mandy. Yeah, she's a chameleon. She's a great actress and pretty much everything.
It's like watching a ghost.
Yeah, she's really haunting.
I got some Shelley Duvall.
Shelley Duvall. Shades of Shelley.
Shades of Shelley.
A beady-eyed Shelley Duvall.
I kind of wish she was in the movie longer. Like, her whole look was witchy.
Yeah, it was Witchy Woman.
Yeah, I was sad to see her go too. I would say with Linus Roach, he was very unsettling to me in the first half of the movie, and I agree. When he died, I liked that he turned into a very. It's like once I saw his dick, and she laughed at him, then he became less scary to me, and the mystique started to peel off of everyone, and I guess I liked that, but I agree it did leave a little to be desired with my tension. I knew he was going to kill everyone.
Sure.
I was delighted by how
he was on a roll.
He was on a roll. I was delighted by how it was inventive. It was funny. It was really maximum Cage. So for me, 3 bones, highly entertaining. Definitely delivered for me. Was not a perfect version of this, but I honestly couldn't have wanted more from this. There's more to be wanted from a movie, but but this was great. I loved it.
Yeah, and movies that coast on atmosphere like that usually fizzle out so hard. So I think me wanting a video game boss fight at the end and Nathan wanting a portal to hell, I think those are justified desires on our part.
And let's also keep in mind this is probably a fairly low budget film, so what they accomplished.
Well, I wondered.
Really?
I wondered.
It looks amazing.
It looked incredible. I mean, they built that fucking church and they burned it down, and there's a lot of fire.
A lot of aerial shots, pyro.
I'm with you. It's not a $20 million movie, but it's like.
I'm sure it's low.
I would watch
5
this
to
movie
10.
be color graded in real time just to see what the hell they did.
That's great.
And
holy shit.
It's a really incredible score.
Yeah.
And anyway, on to you, Thies. But I thought it was very enjoyable.
What came to my mind was the recent Hollywood Forever screening of Saturday Night Fever, in which I could just imagine all these millennials decked out in whatever they think disco means, and just going for a frothy good time, and then getting hit with like this melancholy, dark slice of 70s New York and not knowing what to do with it. With this movie, all the buzz led me to believe that this was Panos Cosmatos' rubber hitting the road, with plot and intention and visuals and style. I thought it was all going to come together as a symphony that worked on its own movie terms. What I got was, yes, Lucas, a tone poem for much of it, and then kicked into hyperdrive into what I thought it was going to be, and also turning the tables on that. So I respect it. I enjoyed swaths of it, but as a movie experience, I don't know. I think I would need to revisit it with different expectations and possibly different drugs. Like, I really think it reminds me of the Monkees movie Head, where to really understand it, you have to be on LSD. This movie,
I don't know what angel dust is, but should we do that?
I think we all do angel dust on the next viewing of this.
Well, I think for a certain viewer, this is a recommend. You know, like
I think everybody with
3 stars,
everybody within the sound of my
recommend.
voice needs to VOD this immediately. You need to contend with it. You need to look straight at
It's
it.
going to show you things you've
straight in
never
the
seen,
eyes.
and again and again.
Don't look at your phone. Just look into the eyes of the movie.
The close-up back shot reverse blending into each other is one of the more hypnotic
It's great
moments
and
of filmmaking
and
I've seen in a
that,
while.
like, I was on the fence between 2 and 2.5. It's that kind of shit that's going to stick to my bones that I'm never going to forget, that pushes it to 2.5, and it becomes a warm 2.5. I think I love the ambition. I obviously love the aesthetic.
It's 2.5 bones, but those bones are made of metal.
They're made of chrome,
I just
polished
hope-
chrome.
I just hope this makes it into AMC theaters somehow.
I don't know. I don't know what the cinema score would be on this. Probably C-.
Oh, yeah. That sounds about right.
I don't know if it's ready for prime time.
Batter's not.
Batter's not. But I feel like his next movie, because he'll probably get a bigger budget after this because it's got such a buzz. Hopefully he'll bring Cage with him, and they'll do what it is I'm saying, which is like, get a writer or something. I don't know, get a fucking writer. Like, get a fucking story that we care about, you know?
You did have a co-writer.
Well, that's not your peyote dealer, you know?
There was amongst all the buzz on Twitter, I did see someone mention that there's a very obvious MacGruber reference in the movie that I kept my eyes peeled for, and I did not catch it.
Is there a throat rip that we missed?
It might have been a throat rip.
Crushes the guy's head with his bare hands.
Yeah.
Well, the guy offers to suck his dick. MacGruber does that.
That's the MacGruber.
That's gotta be it.
I'll suck it. Yeah. Okay.
That's about right. It also had a reference
really
to Seven
MacGruber,
with like the biker like knife penis. That was pretty dark.
There was a knife penis.
Yeah.
Great shout out to the Carpenters.
Yeah.
That was a little Boogie Nights, that scene, right?
It was, for sure.
But yeah, would you guys all agree that people need to, like, people in the Lodge family need to see
Some
this?
people, some people, yeah.
Okay, you're gonna go some.
I don't know
Okay.
if it's for everybody. I don't think.
It just depends on your tolerance for kind of a deliberately paced film.
Brother Ian needs to see it.
Brother Ian, top of the list, dude.
Immediately.
Immediately.
He might be in it. For all we
I think he was one of the Cenobites.
He was there.
Yeah.
Cenobikers.
All right, well, this has been a chilly evening by the sea with you gentlemen.
Action-packed,
We've been
man.
standing in this Lodge ring of fire, just in this...
Yeah, how do we all feel now? How do we all feel now coming out of the... We've been baptized.
We're in a ring so we can watch each other's backs like we do in life, like we do in cinema. And it's been a pleasure, guys.
Let's make it back in one piece.
Let's make it back in one piece, and may we all have Cage-erific dreams tonight.
Watching the comedy.
Whatever that may bring.
By the sound of the horn of Abraxas.
By the sound of the horn of Abraxas, love and light.
Love and light.
Back on the 10 freeway.
Love and light.
Hello, no one is available to take your call. Please leave a message after the tone.
Yo, man, it's Lucas. I made it home last night, just barely. Like, I was just so out of it and promptly passed out as soon as I got home, like, instantly, which is unusual. So my brain was definitely overloaded. and overwhelmed and had to shut down to like sort and file and process all the data it received in the movie Mandy. It definitely stuck with me this morning, even though, yeah, I didn't emotionally connect as much as I thought I would when I was watching it last night. This morning, I was feeling a lot of emotions because the movie definitely resonates, with people who have been in a relationship that's, great and then gets devastated and then, you're left to either seek revenge or whatever. So this morning I just kind of woke up feeling like I was still trapped in Panos Cosmatos' world. And I'm very glad to be fully awake now and out in the daylight, in the sunshine.
It was just fucking crazy, man. Mandy was so wild, man. So anyway, I just wanted to tell you that, and I just had a lot to dream last night. So anyway, man, I'm gonna just chill, man. That was a great movie, man. All right, later, bye.
Hey, man, my dreams weren't that crazy, but here you go. We were all working at this industrial factory place that was in Los Angeles, but it looked more like kind of that crappy Judge Dredd post-apocalyptic stretch of Indiana. We were making custom Pac-Man arcade machines, and the place was decorated really cool, supposed to look like an 80s arcade, but it was kind of shitty. These custom machines, you could like pick what was playing in the background, and you could like make overlays so it was custom, like the game was custom. And we were all depressed because everyone just kept requesting Ozzy Osbourne videos in the background. So like, who wants to play Pac-Man with Ozzy in the background? This doesn't make any sense. This is day in, day out, Ozzy videos and fire, and what are we even doing here? And then we were all kind of hanging out at the company happy hour on the patio, and it was like brown skies. We were having fun anyway at the end. That was it. But in addition to that, I came up with an idea for a movie about aliens who come down to Earth and they're enthralled by BMX racing, and it's called BMX Extraterrestrials. So I'm much more excited about that. I'm about to go to IMDb to make sure someone didn't do it already. Anyway, have a nice day.
Everybody loves a good blood catharsis.